Alrighty, YouTube. Hajim Zero here, back with another video. This is like the first time I've ever done this to do unboxing or unwrapping. Kind of cheated a little bit. I'm gonna say that because number one, I kind of slipped it on the side, so it'd be easier for me to open with one hand, which I'm probably gonna put the camera down to actually do. But as you can tell, this is the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting collection that came out, I think, yesterday. I can't remember the actual date, but pretty much I got it. As you can tell, people who pre-order it, you can see this comic book included. And of course, I got this idea from another YouTuber I saw the other day just to see what the comic book would look like, because I've been saying for years, ever since they did a crossover, actually from the very first crossover game I personally played in the arcade, as a kid in '96. Yes, I'm showing my age, but it's very near and dear to my heart. And of course, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like one of the top best fighting games of all time. Just the other day, I was looking up, I think it was G4 icons talking about fighting games, and it was another G4 show that talked about fighting games as well, and how people, were they the bully or the punk? I can't remember the name of that segment, but if you're a real gamer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this collection has, pretty much every Marvel crossover game that the company has ever did together, and they even have like Marvel superheroes, and I think it was X-Men Children of the Atom and the Punisher, which Capcom I think had licensed or distributed one of the two. But X-Men versus Street Fighter was the first one I ever played, which is near and dear to my heart. I even got the emulator. And of course, if you watch X-Men '97, they even put some of the moves, in that game. I think with Rogue in particular, with that dive kick. And then they said apparently, if you saw the movie X-Men Days of Future Past, Colossus has, I think, that hyper tackle as well. I didn't see it unless the person points it out. I did see it off of IMDb, but it's very near also because the guy that did the voice of Cyclops, and I think another voiceover actor, they're recently now passed away. So this, on top of the cartoon, this is another staple of them being immortalized, as who their characters were. But I like this cover art. I'm looking at, remember all the memes I saw with, Ryu and Cyclops, and someone had did a Wolverine and Akuma one. I can't wait to play this. I also can't wait to get the Capcom Fighting 2 collection, which is going to have, CVS on there, CVS 2. But the people that don't know what that is, that's Capcom versus SNK 2, which is also another iconic crossover fighting game, which they did have graphic novels, for that. But Marvel vs. Capcom series, they should have had it in the very beginning. I mean, come on, you had the X-Men characters in a video game, but you're not going to do a comic book with the video game characters in the comic book. Eventually Street Fighter did get their own comic book series, but just for this series in particular, because I love storyline, and I don't know how decisive whoever watches this feels about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that didn't have any X-Men characters in there. But people did say the gameplay was pretty much solid. It's just the fact that the mess around with Disney. So let's open this bad boy up. I'm gonna put the camera down so I can do it efficiently. Damn it. I'm gonna keep talking so you won't be bored looking at a black screen right now. Yeah, and yada yada yada. Oh wow. But there you go. Yeah, that book is very small. My imagination, I was really thinking it was gonna be bigger, your standard comic book, issues, but I can't remember or know the size of it, but I'm probably gonna sit on a john and read this. Yes, I still read comics on the toilet. So, I'm really disappointed and happy at the same time. I'm not gonna lie with the comic book, because like I said, from day one, it should have been, from each entry, they should have had at least a graphic novel, or something that went with it. I want to say Marvel vs. Capcom 3 could have had something that went with it, or it could have just been fan art, but they teased you with that when you played the game too, with the comic book, ending splashes. And I think in Ultimate, they added some more, and not to mention Deadpool breaking the fourth wall with the comic book stuff as well. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. And cheers.